What's going on, guys? Welcome to a little video vlog here of my very first kill with a crossbow. Stay tuned, we'll get into it. I've got a little bit of video evidence to go along with the story. We'll catch you right after this. So, let's see, this hunt I believe took place on a Monday night. Saturday morning, me and the kid went out and bought some corn to replace the feeder because the hunt before was completely, well, I think it spun around and a little bit came out, so it was about empty. Ooh, they must have just laid some gravel on this road. Coming out here hunting on the first evening of rifle season right now. But anyway, sorry, getting sidetracked already. So anyway, we go get some feed. It's in like these paper bags, 2 50-pound bags. It's in paper bags. They throw it in the back of the truck when we go and buy it from the feed store. And it had rained that morning. And so this bag gets completely wet. We load it in the go-kart. We're riding up the trail, and guess what? You guessed it, bag bust open. So now this trail, which is pretty much just a fire break that splits the properties of the property I have permission to hunt on, and then the neighboring property is a property that people do hunt on, but it's more of just a timber property. And so there's a fire break, and that's the trail that I walk to get to the deer stand, and that's the trail that we're taking the go-kart on, just so we don't have to carry 100 pounds of corn, you know, half a mile or 3/4 of a mile or whatever it is. So we're leaving this trail of corn all the way up and down this trail leading to the feeder, and it really doesn't hurt my feelings because after all, the corn's on property. That's fine with me. So we get there and we park the go-kart right in one of the shooting windows, shooting lanes that we had made in the prepping video. Shout out to Divine Turkey Stores. Thank you for coming out and running a chainsaw while I was running the limb saw. And I parked it right there, and we were trying to sweep off all the corn, get it out from the go-kart because it was messing up the gas pedal and the brake. Oh, there's a deer right there. Just ran off. And right here's the property that I hunt. That's a good sign. So, really good sign. But anyway, just a small little doe it looked like. So anyway, where was I? So we parked the go-kart right there on that firing lane. It's, if I'm in the stand, it's like at 1 o'clock. The feeder's at 9, and then there's another lane at 3 o'clock, okay? So walking into the stand, that long trail of corn, nowhere to be found. Corn's already gone, it's already been eaten, would have been ate. And that pile that was right there at the 1 o'clock shooting stand is, sorry, I got sidetracked by a deer stand. All that pile is completely gone. So I'm like, all right, this is good. So I go get in the stand on Monday evening, walking in, no corn, like I said. Get up there, wind is howling, it's blowing. And I see before 6 o'clock, which is when my feeder goes off, I'd already seen 3 deer, but they stayed way off in the distance, in the thick. No way I can get a shot on them. I don't even think I'd get a shot on them with the rifle. All right, then feeder goes off. I see 2 more deer come through, and one of them is a doe, but looks like a Bronchiosaurus, just a monster of a doe. So then I tell myself, I was like, these things are moving. I'm jonesing to get a deer down. I'm still relatively a novice to this deer hunting thing. I'm gonna put this camera down. I'm not gonna use this camera. I'm gonna focus on killing a deer. Okay, so I put the camera down because that's just one more thing I got to lift up, I got to turn on, just more of a movement. So I put it down. All right, then I see two other deer stay in the thick, and they stay around and mill around, and then all of them just go right off into where that trail is. I walk right over into the neighboring property, which is, I can show you, I'm riding down the road right now. It's just all these pines that are up in there that you can see, and see how thick it is. It's super thick, and this is that neighboring property that I'm talking about. I'm just riding and telling the story before I go and hunt. So anyway, they all slink off over in there, which, thinking back now, they were going in there to lay down in bed. I didn't know that as of right now, so, but just keep that in the back of your mind. So sundown is like 7:03, and 6:45, I pull my crossbow up and I prop it up on the 90-degree angle of the little protection bar or whatever, pull down bar on the 2-man stand. So that's one less thing I got to draw up. Well, right out of the neighbor's property, which comes onto the property I'm allowed to hunt, right on that line where all that corn we had dumped off on the trail, a buck. I really couldn't tell how big it was. I knew it was a buck, but I just couldn't tell because it was right at dark. Still legal shooting light. It was like right at 7, but it gets super dark back in there. If you've seen any of my hunt videos, how dark it gets, even when you still got 30 more minutes of legal shooting light, it still gets dark. So anyway, I'm like, I'm gonna take a shot, and I'm gonna take the rangefinder out there, and I'm gonna mark how far it is. It's got to be, I think, I've been telling people, I think 50 yards, but that might be a little stretch, but 40 to 50 yards, somewhere in that range, which is, in my opinion, a long shot with a crossbow. And as you can see, when I'm prepping, or if you've seen the prep video, those bolts have the little light up tips on it. So I know that the buck's gonna dip whenever I shoot. I know that the bolt is gonna arc because it's such a long shot, so it's gonna be pretty miraculous if I hit this thing. So I'm kind of kicking myself that I wish I would have used the GoPro, because I don't think it would have messed with him, but like I said, I put it down. I want to get a deer. I wanted to get a deer. So anyway, I fired. I said I'm gonna fire on him. So I fired, and I saw that bolt, you know, arc, and it just landed what I thought was underneath him. I thought I split his legs because it went right into the bank right beside him. And so you can see right here, should be a pretty good video if you can see the little light up tip. And I know it's hard to gauge how far away it is on camera, but you can see it's a pretty good poke with what I think, even with a crossbow. Well, I took a shot at one, but it was way too far, and he did not duck, so it went underneath him. Should have aimed a little higher. So I wait 5, 10, 15 minutes, probably more than 10 to 15 minute range, just to see if another one comes out. Because as soon as I fired, that one took off 100 miles an hour in the other direction. So well, that thing's gone. Okay. So about 15 minutes later, 10, 15 minutes later, I get down from the stand and I go and pull the bolt out, and I put on my headlamp, and I got like a little skull cap. It's got a skull cap that's got lights in it too. I light it up and I look at the bolt. I'm like, man, there's some weird looking mud on this bolt. And I look a little closer. I look up at the top on the feathers, or whatever you call them, the bolt, and there's blood all up and down this thing dripping. So I hit that thing, and I got pumped. I got excited. I was like, what do I do? I got no idea what to do. I don't want to go get the bloodhound. I don't want to go mess with the landowner and all them. So I pulled out my big flashlight that I learned to bring with me. I learned my lesson on that. So I got my big flashlight. I'm looking 10 yards away. I finally find a drop of blood. Okay, I don't think I recorded any of that. And then there's no way. So I said, I'm gonna go another 10, and then it starts to get super thick. So I'm like, that's all I can do. So I knelt down, and I was shining my flashlight along the ground, and all of a sudden I saw the white belly of that deer right back at me. And I still didn't see his head, so I still really didn't know how big he was. So I'm like jacked up, pumped up. So think back, remember, those deer, what I think they were doing was they're going in that thick and laying, and that's where they're bedding, right on the edge in that thick, and then coming over to my feeder and feeding. And so I go over there and I put a rope around its neck and pull it out and see. It's got 3 points on one side and just a spike on the other, which is fine. You know, I want a deer. There goes another deer right there. That's 2 deer we've seen. They're coming from the property I have permission to hunt on. So we got to wrap the story up and get in there and see if we can't kill another one on the opening of rifle season. So anyway, I drag it out and make the long hike to my truck with it, haul it, put it in the back of the truck, take it to the house, cut it up, skin it, cut it up, put it in a cooler, soak it, and waiting to grind it up. So I didn't have much film footage and evidence on this, but as I get a little better, the goal will be probably to film an entire hunt. But anyway, that's that. Comment down below. I was super pumped. I mean, it was a super interesting story. It would have been super neato if I would have filmed it all. But anyway, like I said, novice, you know, I'm making mistakes, you know, that a 12, 13, 14-year-old would make. And so by the time, you know, they got good hunting age to go on their own, you know, they've already got those mistakes out of their system. But I'm making those now, so I'm learning. But the goal this season, I think, is I want to get 3. I've already got 1. And with the movement I just saw, hopefully we can get 1 tonight. But if you got any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, everything I've done, I promise you, was legal and by the book. Legal hunt, ethical hunt. For those of you who might have your nerves busted on that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I got to whip this truck around, get back in there, and go see if we can kill one on the first evening of rifle season. Thanks for watching, guys.